Hello, 105.9. My name is Bailey Higgins, and today I want to talk about Canada's future with electric cars. So, Canada wants to be producing only electric cars by 2035 to help save the environment. And to be frank, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Let me be clear and say that I'm not here to diss the new electric vehicles. Anything that comes with all-wheel drive and goes 0 to 100 in under 2 seconds is like kinda my jam. But I do have some concerns. First, let's start off with some good news from the Canadian company Electra Battery Materials. Electra says they have created a new method for recycling old lithium-ion batteries using hydrometallurgy. According to their claims, this new process would reuse about 95% of the important materials inside these batteries. This is fantastic news, not just for car batteries, but for lithium-ion batteries in general. That includes cell phones, laptops, tablets, basically anything with a battery these days can benefit from this breakthrough. However, it doesn't solve some of the core issues with electric vehicles. For instance, even if we recycle all the material from these batteries, we still have to get those minerals from somewhere. Lithium is mostly mined from a place called the Lithium Triangle, way down in South America. In order to mine it, they essentially pump a brine out of the ground, allow the moisture to evaporate, and then process the remaining minerals to get to the lithium. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Well, except for the massive air pollution, the soil degradation, don't forget the water shortages. Well, you kind of get the point. It's not exactly a clean process, but let's say this is a non-factor for argument's sake. How do you get those materials into the batteries now? We are literally at the top of the Americas, so we now have to transport all of those minerals across two of the largest continents on Earth to save the environment. Seems a little counterproductive when you would think a cleaner solution would be to look for something local. In fact, why not go local? Ottawa just opened up a lithium mine about a month ago. Shouldn't that help? Well, it will a bit. Canada has about 2.5% of the world's lithium. So, it won't hurt. But here's the kicker. There are estimations that around 75% of the world's lithium is in the Lithium Triangle in South America. So thinking Canada can compete against that is like saying I'm just as capable of beating Google at answering questions. Hey Google, what's the average flight speed of an African swallow? Google pops up like 300,000 plus results in 3 seconds, and my answer is, well, it's got to be like at least 5, right? The point is, we simply can't compete with the demand that is necessary. Canada is a car-centric nation, and if we don't have enough materials to support the production of these cars, you can bet they're going to start outsourcing ASAP. The worst part about this is, lithium isn't even the most controversial metal they stick in these batteries. Cobalt is another major component, and most of that mineral is located in a little country called the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the Congo has a bit of a reputation for having what some might call loose safety standards. Little to no protection is provided to protect any of the workers at these mines from the toxic effects of the cobalt. Did I also mention that many of these workers are also children, and some are even mothers who have to carry their babies on their back while they work? Now, there have been plenty of claims by large companies that their cobalt is mined with integrity and love and affection. But a man named Siddharth Kara says these claims are straight baloney, and not the tasty pan-fried baloney. I'm talking 5 months in a school locker kind of baloney. Siddharth went out to the Congo himself to explore the truth of these mining corporations and how North American needs may be affecting the people there. What he found was exactly as I described before, but worse and far more prominent than companies like Tesla are going to tell you. Now, I'm not trying to make you feel bad or anything, but the phone you have in your pocket, the Apple smartwatch on your wrist, or the new electric Audi you just bought, probably wouldn't exist without child labor in some shape or form. Now, you will get no judgment from me. I'm literally talking to you through a MacBook right now. But I do think it is important to bring issues like this forward when talking about big future changes like the 2035 deadline for electric cars. I also don't want you to think oil is any better either. It pollutes during and before use, still needs to be transported, and I think we can all agree oil companies aren't exactly known for their humanitarianism. So What is the solution for ecological travel that can be easily acquired, doesn't hurt the environment in processing, and doesn't violate half the human rights laws? Well, I don't have a 100% answer. Like, come on, I'm just a dumb college kid here. There's a reason I'm still in school, folks. But in all seriousness, if I were to suggest an alternative, it would probably be hydrogen. It's more widely available and is one of the most abundant materials on Earth, making it viable for countries across the world and not just Canada. This would cut down transportation cost, which would decrease pollution and the cost to the end user. Less cost means more people can afford it, which means more people are driving green cars and therefore less pollution. You can also save costs and materials by converting old gas vehicles to hydrogen, which, yes, is possible for electric cars, but not very easily done or worth the effort. Of course, you have the argument that processing the hydrogen and creating the infrastructure to support it is too expensive right now. And, well, yeah, you're right. It ain't cheap right now, but neither is electric. And the infrastructure problem still stands for electric as well. With hydrogen, you just need fill stations, which can essentially replace a gas station as they are. Change the tank, change the pump, job done. Electric cars, they're a little different though, and I'm not talking about the charge time. First, you need to create the charge station, and then you need to supply it with electricity. The electricity comes from the power grid, which supports everything else that we rely on in our future society. What happens when every Canadian starts plugging in their new Tesla at around the same time after work? My guess is power failures across multiple grids. Now, I hope that's not the case, and I would like to believe that we would upgrade our power grid before it got to this point, but I don't know if I'd place any money on that. In all honesty, I don't really have a problem with electric cars. I think they are phenomenal feats of engineering, and I feel incredibly blessed to live in a time where we even have the option to choose what we drive. But I think this is a temporary solution to a permanent problem. We are always going to have to be careful about how we treat the earth and the people on it. That's never going to change. But is electric really good enough to make the difference? If we keep producing EVs at the same rate we currently make gas cars, we will inevitably walk ourselves around in a circle. The lithium and the cobalt, it's a limited resource, just like oil, and it produces pollution in its own way, just like oil. Hydrogen, we can literally extract from water if we want to. And I don't know if you've looked at a map recently, but we've got like a lot of water, man. In Canada, we border 3 major oceans and have the 4th largest concentration of fresh water in the world. Now, that being said, don't freak out. I'm not saying we start fueling our cars with our drinking water, but I wonder why we would stop investing money into hydrogen due to cost when in the long term, it looks like a far cheaper option. Right now, like any green solution, hydrogen is expensive and not fully efficient. But if we take the time to invest in research, I truly believe its capabilities will surpass that of the electric car. And besides, why should we put all of our eggs in just one basket? Don't take my word for it, though. Go out and look into EVs and hydrogen yourself. There are more options out there, and the more we explore them, the more we can push towards a truly green society. If you agree, disagree, maybe you just want to run me over with your Model S for bad-mouthing Tesla, whatever you want, feel free to drop a line at any of 105.9's social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. That's all I have for you today on my mini podcast. My name is Bailey Higgins, sending you back to 105.9, The Region.